In this video, I'm going to outline the systems that control people's mind, body, and soul. If you're waking up and want personal guidance to break free mentally, spiritually, financially, book a one-on-one call or join my inner circle. The link's in the description below. You're living in a three-layered prison, and let me show you what this prison looks like. Let's get straight into this. For years, you felt it, a sense that something is deeply wrong with the fabric of reality. A feeling that you're fighting an invisible enemy, wrestling with shadows you can't quite name. We get caught in endless debates. We argue about politicians on the left and right. We theorize about UFOs and secret cabals. We fight each battle, but we never see the entire war. We see the puppets, but we miss the strings. We see the actors, but we ignore the stage that they're on. The reason is that the control system isn't just one thing. It's not just a political party or a bank or a spiritual deception. It is a sophisticated, multi-layered architecture, a prison designed to contain us on every level of our being. Today, we are not just looking at a piece of the puzzle. We are looking at the full schematic, the three-layered architecture of the reality prison. And to understand the prison, we must start at the deepest level. Not with governments or banks, but with the nature of the soul itself. This is the foundation of the entire structure. The foundational layer of control is the reincarnation soul trap. Some say Earth is a school, that the suffering sharpens the soul. But what kind of school requires amnesia, parasitic overseers, and centuries of war to teach a lesson? What kind of curriculum includes genocide, child sacrifice, and psychic trauma? Maybe the suffering was never the lesson. Maybe the real test was whether you'd remember who you were, even while crawling through hell. The rocky road only serves you once you realize you were never meant to stay on it. The exit point of one life has been turned into the entry point for the next. The light at the end of the tunnel is a tractor beam, a processing station. Here, a life review is conducted. Your attachments are used as leverage to gain your consent to come back. Then comes the amnesic veil, a forced forgetting of who you are. This isn't just theory. Consider the testimony of near-death experience researchers like Dr. Atwater or cases like Danian Brinkley. They return from death not with simple stories of heaven, but with complex warnings. They describe the life review not as a benevolent judgment, but as a cold, holographic data analysis of their life's emotional impact. They felt the pull of the light, but also sensed something was off, something that felt more like a requirement than a reunion. It hints at what the Gnostics knew. The system is designed to get you to agree with your own return. And that leads to the purpose. Why do all of this? For fuel. The esoteric traditions call it loosh, the raw, potent energy of unfiltered human emotion, negative emotion, low vibrational frequencies. This energy feeds the architects of this layer, the beings some call archons. Our souls are the livestock. Our emotions are their currency. So if the metaphysical layer is the foundation, this next layer is the physical fence and the farmhands. These are the dynastic bloodlines, and their power is ancient. We can start with the black nobility. They perfected the art of central banking. They moved from thrones to boardrooms. Their ancient network is rumored to operate today under names like the Committee of 300. Here's a real-world allegory of how they work. In 1910, a group of the world's most powerful bankers, representing the interests of Morgan, Rockefeller, and Rothschild, met in total secrecy on Jekyll Island, Georgia. They emerged with a plan that became the Federal Reserve Act. In a single secret meeting, a handful of dynastic financiers created a private central bank to control the entire money supply of America. And they sold it to the public as a stable governmental institution. That is the playbook. Create the problem, control the reaction. And what is the greatest tool of a physical ruler? The control of information and belief. Enter the Vatican. The Council of Nicaea wasn't a spiritual gathering. It was the standardization of a control system. The dynastic families control the physical and financial levers. The Vatican controls the spiritual and historical narrative. Together, they form the walls and the wardens. So now you have the foundation, the soul trap, and you have the physical structure, the wardens and the walls. But how do you control billions of people without them ever realizing they're in a prison? You don't need guards and towers if you can install a guard inside their own mind. This is the third and most brilliant layer, the psychological prison. And the research and development lab for this software has a name, the Tavistock Institute. The techniques developed there don't stay in the lab. They are broadcast into every home through mainstream media. The 24/7 news cycle presents you with a scripted polarity, left versus right, so you never look up at the people who own the entire stadium. This initial programming starts even earlier in the education system. This psychological layer is the most effective because once it's installed, we become our own prison guards. We police each other. Think about the last few years. How many of you watched a lifelong friendship dissolve over a disagreement about the approved narrative? Especially 2020, 2021. Really reflect on this. One person asks a question, a forbidden question, and their friend, now acting as an agent of the program, doesn't debate them. They deplatform them. They cancel them. They sever the connection. That is the program running itself through the populace. The guards have left the towers because the prisoners are now guarding and censoring each other. So there it is, the architecture of control, a metaphysical prison, a dynastic prison, and a psychological prison. They work in harmony. They work together. And realizing this is not a cause for despair. It is a cause for clarity. Because once you see the full schematic of the prison, you can begin to formulate a real escape plan. You now know the war must be fought on 3 fronts simultaneously. You must reclaim your soul. You must reclaim your physical and financial sovereignty. And you must deprogram your mind and take control of your mind. This is the great work. Today, we drew a map of the cage. In my next video, we will discuss the tools you need to break these locks. We'll move beyond knowledge and into practice. We'll talk about how your own breath can be a tool to sever energetic cords, how a simple internal command can shatter psychological programming, and how achieving financial sovereignty is an act of spiritual warfare in the best way possible. The sovereignty protocol is next. You were born with the key. Let's remember how to use it. All right, y'all, that concludes this video. If you enjoy my content, don't forget to like, subscribe, donate in one of the links below. If you want to join a community full of beautiful human beings, go to one of the first links in the description below and join my community, Veil to Vision. We do a weekly meditation. I also do one-on-one mentorship if you're interested in going all the way. I appreciate you all. I love you all, and I will see you in the next video, the Sovereignty Protocol.